Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Osiris from fragworld.org, and I have Cameron and Emmanuel here. We're going to talk about a little bit about TOR. So, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Cameron Winston. I'm a combat designer on Star Wars: The Old Republic. I work on combat and class design.
I'm Emmanuel Lusinchi. I was associate lead designer until we ship. I'm now the technical design director on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Excellent. All right. So we had a town hall. I don't know, about a week or two ago, and we had a few questions. Well, actually, we had about 40 questions, so I condensed them down to a few. Okay. So we actually have another one coming up on the 24th. The last one we had about a little over 100 people. So it was pretty awesome. They had a couple questions. So basically, I'm going to start off with a personal one. What's your favorite part of working in the game industry, and what's the worst?
Well, the best part about working in the games industry is, I'm a person who's loved games my entire life, and I never realized that there was a place where I could actually do that and make that passion a reality. And then when I discovered working in the games industry, so it's like every day for me is coming in and I get to do something that's really energizing and awesome for me. So, I got to say, it's just every day is different. Coming in, you don't know what you're going to be doing necessarily every day, working on different kinds of things, different parts of the project, and I just love the energy and the passion of my coworkers and just being able to make cool stuff like Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's great.
Excellent. Yourself?
Yeah. Just having fun and doing things we're really interested in. And another part is actually all the devs are pretty friendly. Like, we know people in nearly every other studios, and even though we are competitor to the dev, we still remain pretty good friends, and there's a lot of communication back and forth between the different studios.
It's basically like a work hard, play hard kind of thing,
Yeah, absolutely, and like, it's so great that like all those years you spent thinking about how would I do it. Now is your chance to actually test your theories and see how they work on a large scale project, and you get a really cool perspective sitting on this side of it, and being a player first and then a dev second.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So how's 1.2 testing going, and will there be some kind of release date? Are you guys going to announce something like that, or?
Well, we're going to announce the release date like really shortly before we actually push it, just saying, hey, we're going to take the server down for maintenance. But it's so soon that, there's not much time to have a big announcement about it, because it's coming really fast.
Really soon.
Yeah. Well, it looks fantastic. We just saw the preview for it, so I like the little stuff, the emotes, and the rocket boots. Really, I like that.
Thank you.
So it looks fantastic. So I look forward to it.
Great.
Do we expect to see a combat log anytime soon?
So, in 1.2, we're giving you, first pass combat log. It's not in game, it's something that comes out of game, and we're sure that with that information, the community will be able to come up with great ways of parsing and displaying that information. Would we like to show that to you in game? Absolutely. Combat logs are the only way for players to really get the kind of information about, how am I doing, what killed me, is this spec really performing the way I think it is, because right now there's a lot of misinformation and people who don't really necessarily understand how they're doing in relationship to other people, because they don't really have the tools yet to understand the combat game that we presented. So I'm really hoping that this will at least be the first salvo in the opening shot of trying to get people to be more aware of the game that they're playing and how they're doing in that game.
Excellent.
Yeah, this being said, the way it is set up now is that the players can actually make their own combat parser, and I think they're doing a better job than we would do in showing it in a way that makes sense to the other players. And of course, there's a lot of competition. I think as soon as 1.2 come out, you'll see already quite a few different projects where your guild can go and upload and visualize all the results and so on. If we had started by working on the in-game combat log, you would have less information in a format where you can't use as well. So it's a great first step where actually we leverage the community, and we don't pretend to understand the best way for you guys in your guild to analyze and use that information.
Okay, excellent. So I myself am a PvP fanatic. I love your PvP so far.
Great.
I have an assassin myself, and Are we going to see any kind of PvP content added? I mean, I played your new Battleground, which is absolutely amazing. I love it. But what's coming up for the the PvP fan side?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure I fully understand your question. Like, what's coming up for PvP? Like, do you mean like for content?
Yeah,
like
like
war
content,
zones?
basically. Yeah.
So obviously, we're going to be making more war zones in the future. I don't want to commit to one every 3 months or whatever. But I mean, they're in the schedule. We're making more war zones. Obviously, with stuff like ILM and overall PvP, we're always looking for ways to do that kind of stuff better. We're working on it, but we want to deliver something to you that's really excellent. And the first shot didn't work out so well. We want the next time you play that kind of game for it to be really awesome. So we need to solve some problems on our end first. Once we got that stuff figured out, we want to be able to deliver you an excellent experience. We're always looking for ways to improve our open world PvP, our war zones, and as my work as a class designer, we're also looking, at PvP game is one of the games that we're working on. We work on the PvP game as well as the PvE game, because we view class design as needing to work with every part of the game. So it's definitely PvP something that we're very passionate about. We want to make sure it works very well.
But this being said, I mean, in terms of Warzone, more is not necessarily better.
Right.
It's not like we want to flood it like every few months we release a new one. People need to be familiar with them as well to have time to actually develop good strategy. Like definitely we've seen hardball strategy being developed that are much more interesting than they would have if it was 1 among 10 battle zone. But there's a few things we are doing. First, we are taking a lot of the existing Warzone and making them same versus same as well. So that even on a server when you don't have a good balance, you still will have more than just hardball and more than the new one. So it's taking a bit of time to just read it properly. It's not for the rule set, it's just we want to recall new VO so that people understand that it's a training exercise, for example. That's why you're fighting the Republic with the Republic. So that's one thing. And of course the other big change is with 1.2 we start the pre-season, the thing before the full season of ranked Warzone starts. So that's a good way to actually motivate the best PvP players and have ways to compare themselves and have their rank go up and down depending on their performance. So that's a pretty exciting development. And of course another thing we do in 1.2 is letting people at level 50 purchase a decent piece of PvP gear, like a full suit of recruit PvP gear, which allows them to compete much better against players that have been doing PvP for a while. Because in those kind of 8 versus 8 or whatever, I mean a fixed amount of players, fairness is important. And if people are already very good and they have even better gear, they are going to run out of people to slaughter because they are so much better. So we are fixing a lot of those little things.
I think I was on the end of a good player with really good gear against people who didn't have semi-good gear, and they were complaining about it, which I can understand.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I feel bad for him.
I mean, it was me too. Like when we play on live servers, these issues affect us too. When I got my first 50 into a PvP war zone, I was fighting in a hut ball, and Shadow backstabbed me for 8,900 damage, and I had 11,000 life in order to take some. I got one shot. I mean, so we're getting one shot too. We know that there's a scaling problem getting new players into the system, and we're working to address that at 1.2 and looking forward more to it and beyond.
That's a good point. Is we can look at the map, at the Excel sheet, and so on, but until we experience it with one character, that we have been leveling up without cheating on a normal server, it's a different perspective. We get the player perspective, and then things tend to get fixed sooner.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to bring up Guild Wars, but Guild Wars is bringing up dynamic events, and it looks really interesting. And I was wondering if you guys had any kind of plans to bring like seasonal events or dynamic kind of events, in the open world, aspect of TOR. So
we are bringing a form of event I'm not going to talk about because it's a surprise.
Right.
But it's true that if you look at the evolution of MMOs, actually from Tabula Rasa, their kind of dynamic fort defense, which were great, to Warhammers, like their dynamic events and so on, and of course now Guild Wars 2. It's a new kind of way of having quest, but without a quest structure. You don't have to read anything. It kind of, if it's well done, scales the number of players. It's an exciting new development, something we would actually work very well with a team of Star Wars. So it's something as designers who are also gamers we have to think about. It's, to stay competitive, you have to evolve as well.
So there is plans for that then.
I'm saying.
Okay, well, it's an idea. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
That would
It
be
would be
great.
us to think about it very hard.
Okay, well, I look forward to that, to seeing if that really happens. So definitely. What's next for the legacy system?
Okay. So in 1.3 we already have new things that are coming in the legacy system, which is more on a character per character basis. In 1.2, the one that's coming very soon, is more of your entire legacy gain benefit. But in 1.3 you will have a way for each one of your characters to specify a little bit more how they're going to be played. For example, maybe you're creating a new trooper just for PvP, and therefore you will want to purchase a perk for the characters that increase PvP XP, right? So again, a lot of the legacy is making it, since you're part of the legacy, it's not the first character you play. When you're replaying content, maybe you want to do a bit things differently. Maybe you want to do more space combat, and maybe your class quest, and not much beyond that. And that's okay, that's a valid way of playing. We already gone through most of the content, you know a lot of that stuff. So again, in 1.3, more customization per character. And then we're going to try in most of our big patch, to have something new to add to the legacy. Our legacy system is definitely a differentiator, just like our space combat is. And we have to play to our strength, the story and the fact it's a science fiction IP and it's Star Wars, and keep pushing in those directions.
Okay. Well, sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. And last question. So I'm going to ask you to complete this sentence. If I wasn't working for a video game industry, I would be
Dead. I don't know if I could do anything else. I mean, I used to have a real job, before this, and now that I know what it's like to do this, it's an all-consuming passion. It's something that just drives me. It's the reason we work so hard and so tirelessly on this kind of stuff, is because we have to. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else with my life. Like, this is just an all-consuming drive, to deliver as great of a game as I possibly can, and to constantly work to improve it, to constantly strive towards that perfection that, no one ever gets to. You're always, looking at, well, how can we do better? How can we do better? And what a rush, and what a thrill, what an honor and a privilege it is to be able to make games for you guys. And just like, I don't know if I could do anything else.
Well, I appreciate it. So thank you. And yourself?
I think if I was not working in the game industry, I would be trying to work in the game industry. It's the same. I mean, Cameron and I, we both came from other industry, and the game industry is maybe not the place to go if you want to become rich or anything like that. But in the end, if you want to have a fulfilling life, you should do what you want, what you like. And that's a choice we both made. And I think, that's what you have to do. And I never regretted it. I don't know about you.
Never, not a day in my life. I mean, it's just, I never thought that I could enjoy just, work like this. I mean, just to wake up every morning and to have a clear vision of what you're gonna, today I'm gonna do something awesome, just every day. It's just, what an amazing gift that is.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, guys, for this interview.
Sure,
so,
certainly.
I mean, I'm sure the guys out there will appreciate it. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for being
All right,
a fan.
thank you. All right, no, thank you. So this is Osiris, and I will see you guys later.